46 is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to provide and make an appointment to tour our community. News is also brought to you by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrumps optometrist since 1990, offering full-spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight on News 46, another fire occurs at Area 51 fireworks store. A former TV host and veteran passes away over the weekend, and 4 people are transported from an accident. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Monday, May 11th, 2015. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. Fire crews responded for the second time in a few years to Highway 372's Area 51 fireworks. The last time was for a storage unit that caught fire. Friday night, the fire was located in the warehouse to the back of the building.
Just before midnight on Friday, dispatch report of a structure fire involving the fireworks store. En route to their location, we could observe smoke emanating in that area. As I approached from the rear of the building, which we call Division C, I could also see not only fire, but I could see the fireworks exploding through the rear overhead doors. And it had extended into a 30-yard trash dumpster. On arrival, we then supported the FDC. On our scene size up, we found that the sprinkler system had activated. It didn't necessarily extinguish the fire, but held it in check. It allowed us to get further water to that sprinkler system and then get handline teams in place and place the fire under control approximately 15-20 minutes after our arrival.
What's the FDC?
Fire department connection, which is, again, we use the hose in our water from our trucks and the hydrants and support the opening heads in the sprinkler system.
There was reports of fireworks going off at the fireworks store. How much of the area was actually incorporated into the fire?
Well, most of the warehouse was in immediate danger with a lot of the fire in the exploding fireworks in that particular area. The wall between the retail and the storage area became our exposure control. So we placed a line at the front, make sure there was no exposure into the retail center. We held the fire to the area of the warehouse. It's my understanding approximately 20 to 25 sprinkler heads activated in that warehouse area.
The store was open at the time of the fire?
They were actually in the process of closing and doing some mop-up cleaning. And at some point, which is beyond us as far as what the actual ignition source is at this point in time, but there was an ignition of some product. They tried to get the product under control, but it quickly spread to the other closely placed material and again went into the 30-yard dumpster at the rear of the building.
Does that mean that it was started by an employee when they were doing their closing process?
We're uncertain whether it was at the hands of a human or whether or not it was a product issue, and so that's part of the ongoing investigation.
So as far as the storage container, how much of that was?
The storage container was just rubbish, and so it really wasn't a huge issue for us. It did not cause a further extension to the structure. It was more just the fact that we were uncertain in the initial stages until we got our full 360 size of what it actually was the extent of the involvement of the building.
The sprinkler heads went off throughout the building, so there was a lot of damage from that and smoke?
The sprinklers only in the warehouse area above the areas of fire were involved. None of the sprinkler heads activated in the non-fire areas nor the retail center. However, accumulated water from those open sprinkler heads accumulated throughout the building.
And what about the smoke damage?
Smoke damage through a good portion of it, but I will tell you Saturday when we went out to commence the second part of our investigation, it was a night and day difference, if you will, of how they had cleaned up the property.
And a vehicle attempting to use the turn lane to go straight on Highway 372 caused an accident late this morning.
Just had a motor vehicle accident just a short while ago, 2-vehicle accident. We found 4 people injured in that accident. There was no mechanical entrapment. However, at least one, if not 3 of them, needed assistance getting out of the vehicle, but we wouldn't necessarily call that or deem that an entrapment. And all 4 were transported to the local hospital.
This accident appears to have occurred when somebody was using the turn lane to continue straight ahead on eastbound Highway 372, which I've even witnessed myself personally.
It's a hotbed for accidents, that particular area. We respond there on a regular basis for motor vehicle accidents and just about everything else you can think of that might occur along that line of highway there. But in this case, NCSO is starting an investigation. It's going to be followed up by NHP, whose jurisdiction it lies in.
Was there extrication involved in this?
There was no extrication. However, we did have to medically assist 3 of the individuals from the vehicles.
Some of the individuals and family members seem to be very upset on scene there and perhaps having problems because of that.
Yeah, those scenes can be highly dynamic, especially when you see your children injured. And so, the emotions start rising, and our job is to make sure nobody else gets hurt on the scene. So we try to cordon them off and keep them in a safe area, yet keep them in a place where they can keep them well informed.
Also, I noticed vehicles were not pulling over for the emergency vehicles that were coming through there.
Ongoing problem for us. We have done just about everything in our power as far as illumination and audible devices on our apparatus, yet the conformity to the motor vehicle laws still seems to elude us. And so it's one of the things we continue to challenge ourselves. But our job is to arrive at the scene safe, and if we have to slow down even more so or make sure the vehicles aren't yielding to us in a stranger than usual way, we'll do so.
Pull over to a complete stop when you see those vehicles?
To the right and stop. Yeah, a lot of challenges, they'll start yielding to the right, but they won't stop. And if we need to make a right-hand turn in the next intersection, then we still have to wait.
And even at the fire on Friday night, one of the vehicles almost hit one of the police cars.
Yeah, we have those challenges when you have emergency responders coming from multiple jurisdictions and multiple agencies to the same incident. It's a challenge.
So this intersection in particular, one of those intersections where we have a lot of accidents going on, what advice would you give people?
Stay away from the area if you can. If you see emergency vehicles approaching, yield, pull to the right and come to a complete stop. Allow all the traffic. Usually if you see one emergency vehicle coming, there's bound to be a second or possibly even a third coming in short order.
A popular former television host, cameraman, and veteran passed away Saturday. Alvin Jones had been in the Boulder City Veterans Home over the past year. Al was diagnosed with leukemia just recently after having numerous medical issues that caused him to live at the facility. 83-year-old Alvin Jones died over the weekend. The combat Marine Korean veteran was a longtime resident of Pahrump and very active in the community. Al had a long history in television and hosted TV's Young at Heart show of years. The funeral, the 15th, at the United Methodist Church on Highway 372 at 2 p.m. Al leaves behind a daughter and 4 grandsons. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. And Al will be missed. When we return, we'll have your Desert View Hospital health tip.